So the Kingdom of Varlamore is out, and I want to see how it affected the prices in the market. So today we're going to be looking at some of the old items and even some of the brand new items and see the price fluctuations and see how this update has affected the economy. So the first item I want to check out today is the Sunfire Splinters. This is the brand new reward from the Coliseum. And yeah, it's been farmed quite a bit. So there was a point where these were like 1k each. So every time you did wave 1 of the Coliseum, you were getting like 100k, and it took a couple of minutes. And people set up bots to do this, and now I think they cut it back to 80 for the first round. But as you can see, they dropped a little bit. I'm actually still surprised they're at this price. They are used for one of the best new rune crafting methods, but it's one of those things we have to pay a bunch of runners for as well. But yeah, there's still a good way to make a decent amount of money. So next we've got the Venator Bow, and this is an item that shot up quite a bit because it was really good with the Coliseum. So March 6th, it was 54 million GP, and as you can see, it shot up to 70.7 million GP just a couple days ago actually, which is pretty insane. It is dropping now pretty much back to where it was, but you could have made some good money flipping the Venator Bow. If you look at the past year of this item, that was the highest that it's ever really been. It kind of was sticking around the 30 million GP mark, and it shot up to 70 mil, which is really crazy. But now it's dropping again, but it's still higher really than it's ever been. Okay, so next is the Dragon Bone. So if you think about it, Varlamore came out on March 20th, and they were about 3.5k each, so they dropped, which is very interesting. But then ever since then, they have been going up, and they're almost 4k each for a Dragon Bone now. I made a video on the brand new prayer method, and it was about 2 million plus experience per hour. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. But Dragon Bones are a very good way of getting the bone shards. So we'll take a past year look at the Dragon Bone. So this time, like last year around this time, they were almost 3k each, and then they really crashed throughout 2023, and they were like as low as under 2k each at one point, and they really have gone up ever since. Now, is this because of Varlamore, or is it because there are less bots in the game? Pretty big increase ever since like November. Pretty nuts, man. So we've got the Blood Shard. Now this kind of actually really surprises me, right? So anticipation for the Varlamore release is that this thing was 7.5, shot all the way up to almost 9 million GP, and just when Varlamore comes out, it starts dropping. I guess so many people thought this would be a crazy item to flip or whatever, and it looks like it's slowly starting to go back up, and it's dropping again. So 7.6 million today. Maybe it's not as good as people thought. This will always be a great item though to invest in. If we look at the past year of the item, as you can see, it is the highest right now that it has been in the past year. 5 mil, even at some points it was 4 million back in 2023, and right now it's 8 mil, which is pretty crazy. So it's a good item overall to invest in. Okay, right here we've got the Osmond's Fang. I don't understand why this item is so freaking cheap. 22 mil? When Varlamore first came out, it had a spike of 24, but it's actually lower than it was at the start of last month. This item keeps going down. Maybe so many people are doing the Tombs of a Masket. I really don't know. This is such a good item. If we take a past year of this item, right, it was 41 million this time last year. And in August, it was 44 million. But ever since August 2023, it's literally just been dropping. And for 23 million, this is a steal, man. It's one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. Someone on my last market video told me to check out the Dragon Fullhound price. I personally didn't know it was this much money. Kind of crazy. It really hasn't changed much in the past month. But if we look at the past year, this is where it gets a little insane. So last year this time, it was 57 million, and for some reason, ever since then, it's literally just been going up. Don't know why. I know it's an extremely rare item to get, but there was points where it was like 94, 93 million GP. Crazy, bro. It's a Dragon Full Helm. It really has no stats. It has stats, obviously, and it's a really cool and unique item, but it's not like it's used in like best case scenario PVM. It's more of like a status symbol, right? But for it to be this price, pretty wild. This might have been a really good item to invest in. So we've got the Dragon Warhammer. Alright, so let's see. When did Varlamore come out? Varlamore came out March 20th. The Dragon Warhammer was sitting at 36 million. Dropped immediately, slowly going up again. But really, Varlamore didn't make an impact on the Dragon Warhammer. We'll take it the past year. Again, this is the highest the item has been in the past year. Even with its huge drop, it's still higher than it's pretty much ever been. Crazy to think that like a year ago, a Dragon Warhammer was 27 mil. Like that seems like nothing for the amount of value this item actually provides. But it is good to see that the item is going up again. Because, you know, killing 5,000 Lizardman Shamans for 20 mil, like, no thanks. So next we have a brand new item called the Moonlight Antelope, the raw Moonlight Antelope anyways. And the reason that this item is so unique is because when you actually cook the item, it is the best healing food in the game. So basically when you eat the cooked Moonlight Antelope, it will immediately heal like 14 HP. And then additionally, after 3 seconds, it will heal 12 more, which is a total of 26 HP. So it's the highest food in the game for healing. And it also will cure poison, which is just so good. Now, I'm not sure, so like say it came out March 20th, right? They were like 3k each, and they're obviously going to be dropping. This is the raw variant reminder. It is currently 1800. This is some weird ass chart, but the cooked variant right now is still 2.2k. So you're making 400 GP for cooking these things, and they give you like 220 cooking experience. So you can make an absolute ton of money getting fast as hell cooking experience. And yeah, 2.2k for the best food in the game really is a bargain in my opinion. Next, we've got the Enhanced Crystal Weapon Seed, which is used to make the Bofa, and say Varlamore came out right here, 124 million. This item has skyrocketed 136 million GP with just in a couple of weeks. And I believe if we go to the past year of the item, it is the highest it has ever been in the past year anyways. So it was like 115 mil last year, and it dropped quite a bit for a very long time. Had spikes up in there with certain updates, but yeah, I remember this item being only 90 mil, and I still thought that was a huge expense for this item. It is really powerful, keep that in mind, but 90 million just in December. So January right here, you know, January, the start of this year, 96 mil, all the way up to 132 million GP. This would have been an absolute insane investment. Highest it has ever been in the past year. Next, we're going to take a look at the Sunfire Rune. It's very early days for this item right here. As you can see, day one, Jesus Christ, 1,500 each. And obviously they've been dropping, and it looks like they're staying at about 130 GP. Now, is this rune even like a good item? Basically what the Sunfire Rune is, it's a superior variant of the Fire Rune. Any successful hit with offensive fire spells will deal a minimum of 10% of the player's max hit. Non-combat spells cannot use these in place of fire runes. Really, that is kind of a cool effect, but maybe they'll need to add some more spells with them to make them viable. But yeah, it's interesting that you can buy these. Okay, we've got the Nature Rune, man, and this is actually so depressing. So I was really excited. The last video I made where I was like, damn, rune crafting could be profitable again. Is Jagex doing something about the bots? I don't know anymore, because look, this time last month, 151 down to 100. Like, dude, they lost 30% of their value in a month. And if we look at the past year, right, like, look at this. Like, they were always, like, dirt freaking cheap. Like, imagine 85 coins for a Nature Rune. Pickpocket 5 got 5 people in Lumbridge, and boom, you got a Nature Rune day one. Like, they're just so cheap. And then they had this massive, like, February, like, 200 GP each, and just as quick as they rose, they fell back to 100. Don't know why, don't know what the spike was here, what happened, but yeah, that's depressing. Okay, and we're gonna take a look at the Blood Rune. This one should be a bit more interesting because people are probably using the hell out of the Scythe for the Colosseum. So yeah, I was really excited as well with last month how these have been going up quite a bit, and it looks like they crashed when Varlamore came out and they're slowly going up again, 245 to 249. So really not a big change in the past month. But if we look at the past year, this is what I mean. They have been the highest they've been in a very, very long time. So they were literally trading at the price you could sell them to in Alcrid, which is 200 GP. So you could actually make money by buying them off the Grand Exchange and selling them to the guy in Alcrid, which is insane. And they had this massive spike again in February, which brought them up to 250, dropped a little bit, but yeah, really not too much. So they're probably still a really good money maker, especially because people are using the scythe a lot. Next, we have Zulrah skills. Zulrah makes less and less money every day, it seems. 150 GP last month and 113 now. Kind of the same story as the nature rune, it would seem. We will take a look at the past year of these items. So this time last year, they were 179 and continuously crashed all the way down to like 88 GP, 84 even. And it, you know, they're going up a little bit again here and there. It's kind of crazy. You think about September, right? That's when school starts back up and people start talking a lot about RuneScape again, and you can see a lot of items in September just continue to go up. So at least they're kind of like very low again, but I don't know if this is because less people are using the blowpipe with all the new Varlamore updates, or is there more bots in the game? Okay, we've got the Dragon Hunter Lance. This time last month, 52. And right now it is 50. So really not too much decrease in value right here. Had a big drop when Varlamore first came out. It went down to like 44. Insane. You should have bought a lot of them here. And it's back up to 50 million. If we take a year look, at least it's still higher than it was a year ago. There was a very low point where the Dragon Hunter Lance was 30 million GP. It is a crazy powerful weapon against dragons. Great for the Chambers of Zarek. There's so many good uses for the Dragon Hunter Lance. Like, bro, you can make 31 mil with the Dragon Hunter Lance in like a few days. Just being an average player, like just killing rune dragons. So I mean, good item to really have on your account. It's good to see that it's, sticking around the 40-50 million GP mark. Now we have the best item in the game, the Twisted Bow. So this time last month, 1.64, and now it's 1.63. So really not too much of a decrease in the past month. When Varlamore did come out, though, it was a little bit below 1.6. But this is a very stable item, like always. We take a look at the past year. This item has just been going up, man. From 1.37 billion to 1.6 billion. Really don't know what to say about this item. Ever since it's been released, it's just been constantly going up. And my predictions last video were that this will eventually be max cash. And I still stick to that. We have the Atomican Shadow. This is an item I knew would definitely go up with the release of Varlamore. So 1.45 bill. When did Varlamore come out? So Varlamore was right here. And as you can see, March 20th, the second Varlamore drops, it goes up like crazy. Just in a few days, it went up 100 million GP. Stayed around here. And it's pretty much stayed at about 1.5. Bill, which is insane for this item. It is a really powerful magic weapon. A lot of people compare it to the Twisted Bow version of magic. But if we look at the past year, the item really hasn't changed all too much from 1.4 to 1.5, right? It had some drops, of course. A new update comes out, a lot of people buy it, and then it drops. A new update comes out, a lot of people buy it. That kind of seems to be what this item does. Same with the Twisted Bow, really, but the Twisted Bow is just so good in a lot more places than the Shadow would be, right? But yeah, this is a solid item. I'm not sure if this will ever reach max cash. Maybe it will one day, a couple years from now, but yeah, 1.5 billion. Quick look at the super restores, right? I didn't know how these would be affected with the release of Varlamore, right? 9.9 up to 9.9 really haven't changed all too much. And the past year it's been really all over the place, but Varlamore hasn't really had a huge increase on Cerebrus. Also, this usually means that the super restores will be pretty much almost the same. And yeah, 9.9 to 9.9, yeah, pretty much exactly the same. And yeah, is this the same chart? So right now we have the Old School Bond, and this is something very interesting, a drop in the Old School Bond. So Varlamore was released on March 20th. maybe a lot of people invested in the bonds. Because right when Varlamore dropped, they decreased quite a bit. They're going up a little bit now, but they went from almost 11 million GP all the way to 10.5. And if we look at the past year, right, this is really there's a big drop here, there's a big drop here. So this is probably just a big drop and it will go up again. But realistically, the old school bond should always be going up in price over the years, right? So if we look at the whole year, 6.8 mil all the way to 10, that's a huge increase on just one item like this, right? 30% increase. So I'm assuming next year there'll be 14 15 million GP. We'll have to see, but they should always be going up. Well, yeah, that's the market for after the Varlamore launch. If there are any interesting items that you guys have noticed, or if there's any more items that you want me to chuck into the next video, just let me know and I will do so. Like I said, I want to try and make these at least once a month, once every couple of months, especially if some big update happens. It's really cool to check how the update might have affected the economy. And it's really weird, right? Sometimes I will not be making money and I'll just be using a lot of money in my bank account and I'm like, I went up 200 mil for no reason, and it's cool to see the reason why. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.